Like, I genuinely was living so selfishly. Like, it was just have fun, only worry about me. I don't care who I hurt along the way. And I had damaged so many relationships. And when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, this is it. Like, I've either got to like fix everything I've done or kill myself. And God's like, we got this. We can fix it.
I always worry that like I'll get in a car crash and I won't be capable anymore. And
it's been a roller coaster. I feel like pregnancy was probably the hardest thing because you're dealing with all the hormones and morning sickness. Cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you. But he had a lot of struggles with addiction. And I didn't want that for my child. So being a single mother is not something that I would want for someone else. Like, yeah.
Because like for a country to sustain itself, you need at least two. And she was going through so many emotions that she didn't know where to find kind of the next meal at the time. And hello, you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Long-Term Podcast. I'm your host, Advin Villa. Today, we have a very brave person. She is a single mom getting through the struggles of life and building her faith. Mckayla Paranych. We will discuss getting outside, movement, and faith. Mckayla is a very honest and compassionate person who has gone through just unfortunate circumstance and with an unplanned pregnancy and just not knowing who she was at the time, with partying lots and being in a myriad of bad relationships. But you know what? She has found meaning through being a mother and going through all these tough things. She has really built her faith up and she feels more connected to God and her family, and it is an immensely powerful episode. And yeah, there's a lot of single moms out there that need to hear this. And even if you're not a single mom, you should definitely listen to this. There's a lot of advice and there's a lot of kind of faith mindset and just great things. And yeah, I am inspired by this episode. It's awesome. Everybody, welcome. Right. Welcome, Mckayla Paranych, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah. So, tell me what it's like being a single mom and how all of that unfolded.
It's been a roller coaster. I feel like pregnancy was probably the hardest thing because you're dealing with all the hormones and morning sickness. That's a lot. And after I ended up having my baby, everything was so peaceful. Like, I think my son has been such a blessing in my life. Being a mother is also so good because while he's growing and I'm teaching him, he's also teaching me so much that I just would not know. Like, it's not natural for me to know.
Yeah, I came upon this revelation just like a year ago when I was babysitting my little brother. He was 6 at the time. And as much as I take care of him, or the family takes care of him, he takes care of us. You know what I mean? Like,
they bring so much life.
Yeah, like when you're a kid, like just the innocence of everything and just going about your daily life, and you don't have to hide anything. You don't really have to hide much, because when you're angry, you're angry. When you're happy, right? And there's no hidden agenda, as you know, compared to when you grow up. It's like all this like tricks and people have motives, but
well, they're so honest, and it's nice. There's no mask.
Yeah,
like what you're saying.
Yeah. What's his personality been like?
It's constantly evolving. So when he was a little baby, it was kind of hard for me to know what he's thinking because he's so full of wonder now. But before, everything was new to him. Like the entire world was new to him. Smells, sights, colors. Like he's in my womb for so long, so he's not used to the real world. And now his character is coming out, so he's playful and super curious. Like he wants to get into everything.
Wow. Yeah.
He loves exploring. He loves being outside.
What's that like, being pregnant?
Oh, morning sickness is not fun.
Yeah.
So bad. I could only eat like grapes and water for like a month because morning sickness was horrible. The hormones are pretty rough, but I feel like what comes after pregnancy is so rewarding.
I heard some women come out of it with like, it's called postpartum depression. Postpartum depression.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I'm so lucky I did not have to go through that. I feel like my pregnancy was pretty crazy because I was a single mom, so I was feeling a lot of like the shame of that and like doing it on my own, even though I had my family. My family was amazing and they were there for me, but I also felt like I needed that partner to walk along with me in the journey, and I just didn't have that, so that was pretty hard for me. But I feel like that kind of all just faded away after pregnancy. After I had my baby, it was like, I've got you and I'm going to take care of you and I can do this. Like there was more of a confidence after having birth. So
I heard you don't fully mature up until you have a child. You think that's true?
I think it's so true. Like I look at the way that I was living my life before I had my son, and like even the way that you treat people too, especially like older people and just like people your age, it's so different from when you have a child, because when you have a child, you want to protect them and preserve their innocence, and like you look at the world so much differently once you have a child. Like you realize you need to be choosing the next right thing to do, because if you don't, it's going to affect you and your child as well.
Yeah, you go about the world really only thinking about yourself prior to that. And sure, you have your family, you have your friends, right? But at the end of the day, it's always like, what do I want to do?
Yeah.
But now it's
and
like,
anything goes.
Yeah. But now it's like, okay, what do I want to do? And what are the consequences in relation to my kid?
Yeah, right? Exactly.
And if you don't mind me asking, why is the dad not in the picture anymore?
So
is that okay?
Yeah,
I don't want to press.
That's good. The relationship was extremely toxic. And it was like an in and out of relationship. That wasn't good. I know that he had a lot of struggles with addiction. And I didn't want that for my child. So he's not in the picture because of it. And I think his mental state and stability just wasn't there for a child. And as a parent, it's my job to prioritize my kid's safety, well-being. And I want my son to grow up in a place that is safe. Yeah.
Do you think he could return in the future? If
it was a pretty intense relationship, it was also really abusive because of the addiction issues. I feel like no, at the moment. I do hope that he gets better on his own, and that he like finds inner peace and finds a way to go about making his life better. But I do think that him involving himself in our life would just be so hurtful now and chaotic that I don't think it would be a good idea. I'm being really like vague with what I'm saying.
No, it's not vague at all. I've heard many stories like that where, you know, if the person can't take care of themselves, and it doesn't matter if it's a father, a brother, a friend, and they start hurting everyone around them, then of course you need to think about the children that are surrounding that person, right?
Exactly. I do think that he will hurt from this, but I do think that this will be something that he can learn from too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. Like some people just aren't ready to have kids,
Mhm.
right? And you're never gonna be ready,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
it's if you have addiction in your
Mm.
life, right? I know I can't even stand some of the days, and I don't have addiction. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And it's like life is already so tough.
Mhm.
Add drugs or behavioral issues to the mix, and you can't take care of
Yeah,
kids that
exactly.
way. Yeah, yeah. So as a single mom, how has spending time outdoors, because I know you're big into that,
Mhm.
helped you find moments of peace or clarity amidst the chaos of daily life?
So I love going for walks. I'll go for walks with my dog and my son. And it's nice. It helps you slow down. I feel like life in the city is extremely fast paced.
Hmm.
Um, you're constantly going and going, and you want this, or you're on your phone, or you're working, or you're doing something else. And being outside just kind of gives you a moment to focus on like what's really important and the creation around you and how beautiful that is. It's really peaceful.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I've heard master meditators just look at trees and like they can just like love trees.
that's so funny.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
honestly
like
probably could too. Trees are beautiful.
yeah, trees. Like, but then again, if you get really good into like loving nature and then that's
Yeah.
all you do, and then it can be bad. You know what I
Well,
mean?
extrees with anything are
Yeah,
not
that's true.
necessarily
That's true.
good.
Because I'm like, I heard that and I went for a walk in nature and I was looking at the
Mhm.
trees. I'm like, yeah, they're just kind of looking too nice. And I was looking at it, hugging the trees, and then, I'm being all
Yeah.
weird. But nature's beautiful. There's so much
Mhm.
research onto the
Yeah.
the benefits,
Mhm.
onto,
Well, it's
you
good
know,
for your health too.
yeah, relief stress. That's what they
Mhm.
say. Yeah, I read a book. It's called The Stress Prescription by Alice Apple. And just like she talks about just people walking into nature and just how
Nice.
that relieves kind of the inner system and that just reduces the overall stress
Yeah.
and people feel
What
much
slows
happier.
your nervous system down?
Yeah. And I don't think we're meant to just be cooped up inside the
Yeah,
whole time,
exactly.
right? Like just being in the
Well,
like
back in the old days.
that's true, which isn't that long. Like, and you
Yeah.
you think about like the grand scheme of kind of, I don't know if you believe in evolution, but like
Mm.
even like 1,000 years ago, right? And it wasn't common to just be cooped up in like a 9 to 5.
Mhm.
You're usually like a farmer,
Yeah.
and all your like half your kids died, but like you
Mhm.
kept having them because it was good for business,
Mhm.
you know.
Well,
Mm.
it's also really good sensory play for my son too, because he's at the age where he needs to touch everything and make a mess.
Mm.
And when I'm inside with him, there's a lot of things that he wants to get into. Like he wants to go in the cupboard under the sink, or he wants to open the toilet lid,
Oh
and I'm
wow.
like, no, 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 no. But if I'm outside with him, he's free to pick up rocks, pick
Mm.
grass, throw the stones around.
Mm.
It's really good for him because he needs to feel the textures and the colors. And
Mm.
yeah,
Do you like the sun?
he loves the sun.
Yeah, sounds good. Does he like the park?
Oh my goodness, he loves the park.
Yeah. And what
Mhm.
does he know how to talk yet?
He can say a few words. He
Yeah.
calls his stuffed animals babies, which is really
Babies.
cute. He
Wow.
knows how to say mama and no. He's really good at saying no.
Oh wow.
Like if I'm like, hey, let's go do this, he's like, no.
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
okay, sometimes that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. Other times that doesn't fly.
I don't trust people that say yes all the time. Like
Yeah.
it's good to say no. Like you
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't trust somebody who says yes all the time because how do
Yeah.
you know they actually want to do it?
Yeah. And it's a level of disrespect to themselves too if they don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
could see what you mean. Like, I feel like they lack the self respect to say
Yeah.
no to something.
Like
I've struggled with that
no,
for
me too.
sure.
Me too. But it's like some of my best friends when they tell me no, I kind of get sad, but I'm so thankful in the
That
long
they're
term
honest.
that they're honest. Like,
Yeah.
oh, do you want to go to the gym with me? And like, no, I'm just not feeling like it. Versus if they actually, now if they actually say yes, they
Yeah.
actually mean it.
Mm-hmm. You
It's
want genuine relationships.
yeah, that's true. He's learning from a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Man, he'll be listening to this like 10
One
years
day.
later. Hey?
That's so funny.
Yeah, 20 years later. I wish there was a podcast with my mom,
Oh my
20.
goodness.
That'd be so cool. Be like, wow, like little Advent,
And you can just see their growth
Yeah.
as they go along. I'll
yeah,
probably watch this back when I'm older and be like, wow,
Yeah.
some things have changed and some things are the same.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's a long-term podcast. That's the way I'm going to structure it, because like I want
Yeah.
people to keep coming back and just to kind of compare their lives
Mhm.
and just see how much better it got or
Yeah.
worse, like,
No, it sucked.
but yeah, that's the truth. Like some lives do get worse,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Just the way she goes.
And it depends what season you're into.
Yeah.
Because life kind of goes up and then
like
down.
a roller coaster. Like even
Mhm.
today, like I was just so discombobulated at work. Like I just felt
Yeah.
like so low. I don't know
Mhm.
why, but for whatever reason, I'm like, is it that dream? Was it I
Yeah.
ate too much before bed, but I didn't get enough sleep, or all the above?
Mm-hmm.
But it's just okay. That happens. I still have to show up to work. I still
Yeah.
need to respect my friends and be there for my family. But at the same time, still pray and still do the things that I need to do.
Yeah.
Because I could just use that as an excuse, like, I don't. Then life just gets worse. That's why you need to keep moving your body. Because, like, I think there's this quote of treat the body rigorously so the mind doesn't become disobedient. Right?
That's good.
Yeah. You just lay there the whole time and you start, when you think too much, especially
You have
when-
to be able to say no to certain things in your head. Even
Yeah.
if like a thought comes into your head, you have to be able to be like, okay, so no, I'm not going to say yes to that thought. And then go about with what you choose to replace that with.
True. Do you trust your thoughts?
No,
No?
absolutely not. Because I feel like we absorb so much throughout the day, right?
True.
So you're getting opinions from other people, you're getting opinions from the world and society. And so your brain can just replay that at you. Like it could be like, oh, you don't look very good. Oh, you don't act the way I want you to. And like you can disagree with your thoughts. It's okay to be like no to certain things that come into your head and replace that thought with something else.
Yeah.
Like choose what you want to think, even though you have a ton of thoughts coming into your head.
Yeah. And well, yeah, so we go through so much throughout the day and certain things just pop up and you don't even have control over it.
Yeah.
But I think the Buddha says like the first arrow, which is like things that are out of your control. So when somebody says something mean to you, or when, you trip and fall and you develop a scar, that's the first arrow. The second arrow is when you ruminate in your head. Like that's where the true suffering comes from, where, okay, you keep replaying it and you're like, oh, am I really a loser? Or like, oh, that scar makes me ugly. And then you keep, and the next thing you know, there's the third arrow, the fourth arrow, and then it's just ruining your entire life.
Yeah,
right?
There's a really good book that my mom gave me to read. And she gave it to me like a few years ago, but I ended up reading it while I was pregnant because I was dealing with so much, like, I was just overthinking a bunch. And the book is Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer. It's really good. And it basically just talks about like how you can take control over your brain and the thoughts that come into your head. And I just think that's so nice. And I think people need to declare that over themselves more. Really good book. I'd recommend it.
Yeah, Mindset. You should read Mindset by Carol Dweck too. I've
actually seen that book a few times and I almost picked it up and brought it home, but I did not.
Yeah.
I'll have to.
Go to the library. I got it.
That's a good idea. Then I don't have to pay for the book.
Do you buy your books?
Usually, yes, because I feel like then I'm going to want to read it more. When I know that I haven't paid money for it, it kind of just sits on my shelf and I'm like, oh, I'll get to it. And then I'm like, oh, book return time.
Yeah. But then there's like the time constraint though. It's like, oh, it's got to return it in 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I just thought I was buying so many books. I'm like, I could buy this.
Yeah,
with
it's
carrots,
smarter to just get it from the library.
Yeah. But I know if if that strategy, if it works for you, and you want to keep
sometimes
reading.
I read books and I'm like, oh, I disagree with all the information in this. And then I'm like, I have this book and I don't know what to do with it now.
Yeah. You could return it if you got the receipt.
True. but
Can
I
you do that?
probably will finish the book like past the return date.
Yeah, that's fair. Hey, 10 pages a day, and then
Yeah.
you'll finish it before
75
30 days.
hard.
75 hard? Have you done that?
No, I
Yeah,
wish I could.
You should.
I've tried.
I think you could.
I could probably, but I feel like I've definitely been lazy or like I've given up because instead of like getting back into it, I've kind of like had a rough day and been like, oh, I can't do this anymore. But I think it would be fun to try that again.
Yeah. Start today.
Oh, goodness.
Right after this.
Yay! Starting 75 hard on my birthday.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. How's your birthday been?
Good.
Yeah?
Went for a hike.
Yeah.
Went to go have brunch with my friends. It's been really good.
Productive day. Now we got on the pod. Hey,
Yeah, this is exciting.
First birthday podcast. It's awesome.
Woo woo.
It's an honor.
Thank you.
Yeah. So do you have a favorite place in nature that feels like a reset button when things feel overwhelming?
Yeah, if it's like I need a vacation, I'm going to the mountains. Like
Banff or Jasper?
Field, BC. I used to work there and I loved it so much. So I like going there. Clearwater is also beautiful. I love Clearwater, BC. It's a little bit further out of Jasper, but it's just breathtaking. If I cannot afford to go to the mountains or I'm like, I just need to go outside, I'll just honestly go to my backyard. I'll go for just any nature walk. I have an app called All Trails and it like shows you all the different nature trails in where you're located.
In Short Park. Yeah.
So I've just been using that and it's great. It'll even show you the off-leash dog parks, which are great.
Should Clarkdale. They've got some good trails there.
Ooh.
Yeah. And Lakeland, bunch there. I love Sherwood Park.
Yeah.
I really
I like to
Sherwood
go
Park.
into Edmonton. You wouldn't think that there's like a lot of trails around there. I'm not talking River Valley. River Valley is really beautiful, but I really like to go into the different trails. Like White Mud Park has some really nice trails. They have like nature reserves too, just on the outskirts of Sherwood Park, which are beautiful if you want to be in the trees. And they have some like open, wide spaces as well, which is really nice.
Oh, wow. I'll have to check it out. I like
all trails.
I like running just around baseline.
Oh, sweet.
I don't know. I don't know if it's like narcissism or like, because I like to spread positivity, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you can hear me running. Let's all run, you know?
That's funny.
No.
I wouldn't say that's narcissism. It's probably good for you too, because then you're like pushing yourself in a way. And you're also showing others like what you're doing. You're proud of it, which is good.
Yeah. I've had a couple guys give me the finger though.
That's funny.
Yeah. I don't know
They're
what it is.
just like fitness.
No, really. They honked this couple trucks. They honked at me and this is like a week apart and they just gave me the finger. And I was told my family, I'm like, what did I do?
That's so funny. They're jealous.
I don't know.
Maybe they're like, stop reminding me. I need to work out.
Yeah. It could be. I've gone through the mental gymnastics and I'm like, okay, it could be. Maybe they think I'm cocky. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they
have
just
a prejudgment of you.
Or maybe a prejudgment. Maybe I've said something in the past that reminded like.
Did you recognize them?
No. Maybe I know their son or daughter or something. And I was like, a degenerate in high school and I was a bad influence.
I think we all were degenerates in high school.
You ruminate on all these things and it's never going to be, you're never going to find an answer. And even if you do, there's no point, as long as you're not breaking the law, as long as you're not hurting anyone, then just run or do something that you love, regardless of if people hate on you.
Yeah.
You know?
Also, hurt people will hurt people. So if they're hurting or they have something internally going on with them, they're going to project that on you and make it your problem.
True.
So they could hate you even when you're doing good. And I feel like a lot of people hate you more when you're doing good, which is weird because you set a standard that people don't want when you're doing good. And they feel like they have to meet that standard, which is not necessarily true. And also, sometimes people have, like, it's jealousy or comparison issues. Like I've even struggled with those before. Like when I'm on my phone and I'm looking at influencers, I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, okay, I have to get off my phone. And like, why am I like getting cold towards someone I don't even know just because I want to be in the position that they're in? And that's when you have to kind of like turn around and be like, I have what I have and I'm happy with it.
Yeah. But then you also don't know those people. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know like the mental kind of framework that they operate in. For all we know, they could be the saddest person who actually looks at the top and just keeps looking there, and then they never get to see their surroundings. I'm the same way too, where I'm scrolling like, oh, look at all these podcasts. I want to be like Joe Rogan, Theo Vaughn, all these big names. But then it's like, okay, but at least you got a podcast. You know, at least you're alive. You know, a lot of people don't get that. At least, you know, you can speak. A lot of people can't speak, you know, whether it's just their minds won't let them because they're so anxious or they have some sort of illness. And it's always greener on the other side, right? Because we're always just gonna
want what we don't have.
Yeah, once we have that thing, it's like just becomes normal. When we forget that before, like 10 years ago, this is what we prayed for. This is what we wished for.
Exactly. You're living in a answered prayer right now.
Yeah, no, exactly. I think it just seems normal to me to right now to be on like episode 141 right now. But like, if somebody told me 3 years ago that I was going to have a podcast, I would have been like, what? No. No. Like if somebody told you that you were going to have like a 2-year-old that you were going to love and adore,
I would have been like, ain't no way.
Yeah.
Because I said to everyone, I'm not having kids. I am not having kids. I don't want to be a mom. And I think God was like, oh, honey, you're going to eat your words. But also I made the choices that ended up with me having a child. So
I think we don't know what we want. You know what I mean? I'm a massive believer in that, because when I drove home from work today, I wanted to just sleep and cancel the pod.
Yeah.
But I know from all the different iterations in the past that I have to run, I have to shower, and have to prepare for the pod. That's what'll grant me fulfillment. At that moment, I didn't want to do the things that I wanted to do, but in retrospect, looking back onto the times where I've quit and the times where I've canceled on plans, where I didn't show up, where I could have been, and I go, what if, should have, could have, ifs. It's like, okay, I'm gonna take the lessons I've had in the past, the mistakes I've made. I'm gonna go, okay, maybe I should take that risk. Maybe I should just go, despite my every muscle in my body telling me not to.
Sometimes you're just tired and your body's like, I don't want to do this. Or you've been sitting for too long that your body's just like, I don't want to do anything physical. But the second that you do it, you get the gratification of being like, oh, it's done.
Yeah. Or it's like,
and I did the hard thing, and you're training your brain while you do that too.
You should be an influencer.
Oh gosh.
TikTok famous. Mckayla. Can you imagine? You ever see those moms on TikTok? Like
I do. Kids? I love the idea of being an influencer, but at the same time, I feel like it could probably get really overwhelming. I like being able to move in silence a little bit and like live my everyday life without eyes from every corner. I think it's nice to have social media and like post little updates and like, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
But I feel like when you become an influencer, people don't understand the pressure that's on these people, because cancel culture is so horrible right now. Like,
terrible.
And you're getting it from like every perspective in the world. So if you say anything wrong, you're going to have a ton of people coming at you. And it's almost like you can't do anything right on social media. So I feel like that would be extremely destructive for my mental health.
Yeah. I don't think being famous is healthy. No, I like back then, when we lived in little villages, little tribes, like we knew like 150 people, you know, and like half of those people were old, and then half of those, the other half are like children. So you're only really like, your potential relationships are people that you hang out with a bunch. They're like, there's like 20, 30 of you, and you guys grow up together. But now you go on social media and there's just endless amounts of comparison, endless amounts of just information of all these things that you could be doing, should be doing, that you're not doing.
Yeah,
you know?
you really have to be able to discern like what you're going to actually absorb, what you're going to throw away. Even sometimes when you're doom scrolling, you see something, you're like, I did not want to see that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's almost like you need to know what you're going to take home from your phone.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're influencing with a purpose, like I like what you're doing with this podcast, you're giving a voice for people, which is really good.
I just think people's attention spans are terrible. And I think people don't actually get to know people. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like the interactions I've had here have been some of the most meaningful conversations like I've had.
Versus you're asking all the hard questions. You're not just like, oh, the weather's nice today.
Man,
and how are you? And what did you do today?
You watched Squid Game. Severance. You watched that new movie?
Yeah.
It's like I've always really wanted to ask, like, yeah, what does deja vu feel like? Do you feel like crying about it? You know? But then I'm the weird guy, you know?
Yeah.
But on the podcast, it's okay.
Good to ask the deep questions.
Yeah. It's like the long term, right? It's I really, really adore this podcast, and I will never stop. Yeah, it is my baby. And I think that people should have long form conversations with people, and actually, because there's people that I've worked with for 5 years and I don't know anything about them.
Yeah.
Like there's people that I've known for a decade that I went to school with, and I've talked to them many times at the gym. I've seen them at school, but I don't know them. You know, I talked to one guest and I feel like I kind of know where they're coming from. I understand them more. And I feel like that should be normalized, because it's just like weird, you know, you don't ask the deep questions because
we don't really know who we're around anymore, and that's kind of scary.
Yeah
because you're also like, a lot of people in friend groups don't even know their friends, which is like crazy to think. Especially because as a mom, I want to choose good people to be around my son. Not saying that I know bad people, but I feel like there are certain people that you don't want influencing your children.
Yeah. There's a lot of bad people out there. You know what I mean? True. And it's like, it's not in the sense where it's like they're just criminals, you know, but like people who want the worst for you. People just have bad intentions, or like
that's exactly what I mean.
They say they want the best for you, but their actions say otherwise. Yeah. It's like, you said this thing about me, which isn't true, but in my face, you're telling me you like me and we're friends. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people like that. And you need to be able to discern that. And through constant like mistakes and errors, you get to weed out like, oh, that type of person was too much. I don't quite trust that person. And at times I've had to trust my gut, where it's like, okay, that's right. But at times I've been wrong. You know what I mean? Oh, that person is so trustworthy. That person is somebody that I want in my life 10 years later. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And so how do you make time to get outside, even on the days when you feel mentally or physically drained? I know we touched up on that.
I will... After work, I like basically have to, because I have a dog. So even when I'm like, I don't want to do this, my son needs to go outside. My dog needs to go outside. And I know that I should be going outside. So we'll go for a walk after work. Or we'll just play in the backyard for a little bit. It's basically just like prioritizing it. It's become a need of mine to like go outside. Because I do start to get like 4-wall syndrome. I don't know if that's the correct.
4-wall syndrome, where
like
you feel trapped? You feel like...
When I'm in my house for too long, I'm like, I need to get out. I need to go outside.
Yeah, I kind of have 4-wall syndrome. Kind of, doesn't everyone? Doesn't like a human being like kind of needs to be outside. And like when you see someone that's like all pale and they look like they haven't seen the sun in like decades. Yeah. It's like, that doesn't look healthy.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I know too from like my past, when I was a teenager, I would get home from high school and I would just scroll and
I
scroll and scroll and sit in my bed and scroll. And I was depressed and I could sleep until like 12 p.m., 3 p.m.
mm,
And I just can't do that now.
yeah, me
Like,
too.
not just because of my son, but also because if I do that, it just affects my mental
Yeah,
health.
yeah. No, I've been through that. I used to take naps. I'd
Mm-hmm.
scroll, then I'd take a nap after,
Yeah.
and then it actually it's not a nap. It'd be like a 3 hour sleep, and
Yeah,
then
exactly.
I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Next thing
Mm-hmm.
you know, I got a chem test that I need to study for,
Yeah.
and I play one game, and it's just one game, and I play two games, and in between games, I'm texting, I'm snapping,
Yeah.
and next thing you know, it's 2 a.m. I'm on my knees praying to God,
That you can
please, there's
pass
a
your test.
miracle. I just skip. I
Yikes.
skip and I do it all over again the next
Yeah.
day. And it's like
It's
so
just
ah
one bad
yeah.
decision leads to another.
Yeah.
I think that comes back to like making the choice to do the hard thing. If you get it over with, there is such a reward at the end of that.
Mm,
Versus if you make the decision to do the wrong thing, then you have to deal with the consequences of that.
yeah. I think in most of life, the hard thing is always the right choice.
Mm-hmm.
They're always
I
like they're like
agree.
synonymous sometimes. Cause like, yeah, it's easy not to have those tough talks because like, it's
Yeah.
awkward with my
Mm-hmm.
dad. You know, he knows we love each other, or that
Mm-hmm.
coworker that I need, hey, are we okay? Or, going to the gym where it's
Mm-hmm.
or going for a run. But then reading that book where you need to improve, but then not doing any of that because okay, maybe I'll just stay. I'll watch Netflix, right?
Yeah.
I'll just scroll on my phone. I will not talk that tough talk because it's uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You end up suffering in the long term rather than getting it done right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna just go for a run, and then you feel fulfilled versus prolonging it. It's like the suffering just keeps on escalating up until you look back and you go, I could have just done it. Why didn't I just do it? And you're on that test, right? And you're looking at the answers. I could have just studied this. I could have
Mm-hmm.
just put it in my memory. Or I could have just been there for that person. Now it's too late.
Yeah, I think our brain overcomplicates doing the right thing too. Like, it's almost like a parent asking you to do a chore when it comes to like making decisions in your head of like, okay, I'm going to do the next right thing. Your brain will start to make excuses like, oh, I don't want to do this because I'm tired, or I don't want to do this because I don't want to have to change clothes to go for my workout and drive all the way to the gym and do this. And I don't have to load everything into my car to go for a walk. But sometimes you literally just have to be like, no, and get up and do it. And it's
Yeah.
the easiest way to get things done. Even with like having conversations with hard people, like just do it.
Mhm.
Just do it, Nike.
Yeah, just do it. And like you either suffer the pain of regret or discipline, right?
Yeah.
And regret feels so much heavier. It
Mhm.
weighs tons, and discipline weighs ounces.
Yeah.
But yeah, just do it, Nike. It's like that Shia LaBeouf. Remember when that meme came around?
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Hey, that guy's been enlightened. Have you
Mhm.
seen him? You seen clips of him? Like
I haven't.
he's really into his faith now with God and
Nice.
Jesus. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of people are turning into Christianity. You
Oh
seen
yeah,
that?
it's
Yeah.
awesome. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
I feel like too there was such a dry like period of Christians because everything was really rituals and like people didn't have real encounters with God. And that made it really hard for you to want to worship God when you don't even know who He is. I honestly encountered God when I was like, when I got pregnant, and I was like, I had no friends. I was depressed. I was like, I can't do this. And then I had a real encounter of like who Jesus was. And it just changed my view on like who I thought God was. Cause I thought God was like, if you don't follow my commands, then bye bye, you're going to hell. But it's like, that's not what he's like at all. He like, in the middle of your suffering, when you've made stupid decisions, he's like, I'm going to comfort you. I actually care about you. And he cries with you, which is so crazy to think about. Like, he's so loving. And it's just so different from what I feel like society teaches. And I feel like people do a really bad job of representing God. Like, we are imperfect people and we fail each other. And so that's going to have consequences. And people are going to, like, if you're a Christian, people are going to be like, wow, she thinks she's better than everyone else.
Yeah.
And a lot of blame goes towards God, but I feel like that's not who he is.
We make mistakes every day, right? And it's just God's always going to be there for us, and he's always just going to shower us with love.
Yeah.
And there's this quote of, love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. Love, it does not like, it's not rude, and it does not insist on its own way. It is not resentful or resentful.
Jealous.
Yeah, it is not resentful and it doesn't rejoice in
evil.
Yeah, it doesn't rejoice in wrongdoing. It rejoices with the truth. And I think I missed some words there, but
yeah, you basically got the gist of it, though.
Yeah, but like, love is the most powerful force, I'd say. And I think in my darkest times, I think God was there to lend his hand and to tell me, hey, everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
And you can do it.
Yeah.
And you can get through this day. And I feel like I want to be able to, I know I feel my happiest when my faith is strong.
Yeah.
Like the feeling of running towards a bullet of fire or a wall of bullets and feeling not feeling untouchable, feeling no fear, right? I feel like I want to be able to sacrifice just the way Jesus did, and kind of I want to get closer to God and kind of actually follow through with the teachings. I don't know. There's just so much suffering out there, right? And
the world is a really ugly place. And we need to be comforted. Like, we're all going through so much, and I feel like we live in a society that's like, if you're not presenting your best self, you're not really accepted. But when you have a relationship with God, God wants you to be honest with him because he already knows your heart more than you do, which is such a crazy thought. But you can sit with him, and until you're ready to be honest with him, I think that's when you have a really deep connection with him. Like, sometimes there are things in my heart that I don't want to admit. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'm jealous of this person, or oh, this really made me mad. Or sometimes I'll even be mad at God. And I'm like, I don't want to admit that. But once I do, he's like, I already knew this. And I want to comfort you. And I want to give you a way out of what you're feeling. And I think that is so important.
Yeah. It's scary to look in the mirror and to really look at your soul and to like talk to God, to get down on your knees, to actually give it all out there unfiltered, because you get to see just how flawed you are, right? And it's uncomfortable. It's like, oh, I did that. I did this. I let you down there. I sinned there. I gave into temptation. There's so many temptations with every day. Yeah, we make mistakes every day, and I've made so many mistakes in my life. Oh, I could have been nicer to that person. Why did I make that comment? Why did I think that way about that person? Why did I engage in that behavior? Oh, I snapped too much of that person. Yeah. I think that only perfect being to walk on earth was Jesus. 100%. Yeah. He just, and to be able to be betrayed by the people who he just wanted to help. Yeah. And to be able to walk with like well, there's also something that is just so amazing about the fact that you have a perfect God, and he came down on earth and humbled himself to your level and let people who were imperfect beat him up, put him on a cross, because he wanted to send the message that, hey, I love you and I will do anything for you. If you will just turn to me, I want to save you. I want you to love me because I love you. There's something that just like blows my mind when I think about that. Because
there's no reason why he needed to come down and do that. Like, if you think about it, he's
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah. And to
It just shows how much you're loved. And I think that's so amazing. And I think that's something that we can build hope on, especially in a world that's really ugly, is that you have a God that loves you no matter what you do. And he's waiting for you to just be like, hey, I need you.
Yeah. He's always going to be there for you no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's just so liberating, right? Because like we play all these games, right?
Yeah.
Of, okay, like the hierarchy, am I doing better in this? I gotta make more money, I gotta do this. But like at the end of the day, like to be truly saved is to just give yourself to God.
Yeah.
And I think for people that sounds so
Crazy or like psychotic.
crazy, psycho. Like I'm not saying, like I'm just gonna sit there and like pretend that everything is gonna just be.
I'm not
given.
gonna go to work because you're just gonna give me money, and I'm
exactly.
not going to go to the grocery store because food will magically appear in my fridge.
Yeah, it's like that story where the house is flooding, and or like it was just everything was caught up, and people were drowning everywhere, and there's this man on a platform, and a bunch of people came, row in the boats, like, hey man, like come on, we're trying to help you. It's like no, God's got me. And then a bunch of people came, like a helicopter, and like no, God's got me. But people came in all these different vehicles.
Oh yeah. I've
and then
heard this story.
he finally died, and he's like, God, I was
why
waiting.
Didn't you send?
Why didn't you save me? And like I did. I sent so many people to help you. And it's just like that story blew my mind, because there's so many people that have gone in my life, and I see them. They're the reasons why I believe in God. Yeah. Like,
I think too, it's not always easy to see the way that God is working in your life, because people don't view life as a very spiritual thing sometimes. So I think God works in a really natural way that just kind of works itself out. Like you could be praying for something to happen, praying over and over again, and then all of a sudden it happens, but it's not in some like big bang that you're like, oh yeah, that was you, God. Yeah. But a lot of the time he's working and like finding ways for things to work out for your good in such a natural way that it's so subtle. That's why it's so important to be like, thank you.
Yeah, gratitude for every single day. Right?
Because you just don't know. Yeah. Okay. Welcome back.
So what role has physical movement played in helping you process emotions or cope with stress as a mom and woman of faith?
It's really important to take care of your body. I feel like that's kind of obvious, but if I have like a lot of pent up anger, or there's something going on that I kind of need to just release, it is really good to move my body, because sometimes you just feel your emotions in your entire body. And I feel like working out can be a really good way of relieving you from that. It's also just good for your health, like your physical health. Depending on how you're doing physically, it's going to affect your mental health. Because I know for when I was younger, like I said, I was not really active, and I would just go home and scroll on my phone. That really played on my mental health. And yeah, I feel like the way you treat your body helps you treat yourself better internally, if that makes any sense.
No, it does. I think the mind kind of follows the body at times. And if you're just sitting down there and you haven't really done anything throughout the day, it's just like you tend to just overthink. It's like less like I said earlier, when you treat the body rigorously so the mind doesn't become disobedient. Like I feel like the mind, like you kind of have to control the mind. Like you have to like tame it almost.
Yeah, the way you take care of your body really plays on your mental health. Like if you don't brush your teeth, that's going to make you feel disgusting. If you don't shower for a while, you're going to be like, ugh, I feel gross. Yeah. Like those things just naturally affect your mental health.
Yeah, and it builds up. You like we talked about earlier, like a butterfly effect. Yeah. Okay, you don't engage in that run, and then okay, what do you do in that spare time? Maybe you
Mhm.
take a nap, and that nap becomes
Yeah.
2 hours. You get into you feel groggy when you wake up. You have to cook dinner, and you don't feel
Mhm.
relieved. And then next thing you know, you can't sleep at night because you just took a nap. You come to work with a poopy pants attitude, discombobulated,
Yeah.
and it's just you take it out on your coworker. You get fired, and you get fired. Next thing you know, you can't feed anyone. You can't
Mhm.
feed yourself. You end up in the streets. Next thing you know, you're doing heroin, and
Oh
then
my
you know
gosh.
you know what I mean?
Dang.
Like, yeah, no, but like that's the
That's a
reality. Yeah.
that's a crazy list.
Yeah, no, that's always what I think about too. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
if I do this,
The
next thing
chain
you know, I'm
of
just gonna be doing
consequences that come with it.
yeah, just be doing crack after this. You know what I mean? No, I overthink like that
Yeah.
sometimes. Yeah.
No, it
It's
makes
like
sense.
I do this one thing and next thing you know, I'm out
It's
in the
gonna
streets.
spiral. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's good. That's why I pray, meditate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So has your relationship with your body changed since becoming a mom?
Whew. It's been up and down. I feel like you have no control of your body during pregnancy. Like it grows, it shrinks. So after birth, my body's obviously changed a lot. And right after I had my son, I was like, okay, I'm not going to let myself go. Because I feel like a lot of times it's easy for people to just be like, well, I had a baby, so I'm not going to take care of my body because I like, they almost make excuses for why they don't need to. And I decided, like, no, this is my son is the reason why I'm going to take care of my body even more now. Like before I had gotten pregnant, I had a really bad eating disorder and it was really affecting my life. Um and I was just unhealthy and it was spiraling and my mood was not good. I couldn't focus. I was angry. Um but once I had my son, I was like, "Okay, I'm going to take care of myself so I can take care of him because I need to be able to um pour into his cup by having a full cup. And the best way to do that is taking care of my body."
Yeah. It's like when you're out there running, walking, doing things for you,
Mm-hmm.
that builds up more energy to be able to give to others.
Yeah,
And when you have,
exactly.
more water and it's overflowing, it's just even if you don't want to, it's just gonna flood into other people.
Yeah. Basically, to answer your question, I feel like I am the healthiest that I have ever been in my life now compared to any time in my life. Like, I was not a super fit child. Like, even in high school, I was like, I hate gym class. I don't want to do this. Like,
Mhm.
I just didn't see the purpose of it until I had my son. And I think that kind of plays into like how your brain matures a little bit too. Some people are just naturally born with like, I know what I need to do. For me, it was more like I had to figure it out the hard way. Um, but fitness has changed my life so much. Um, and I think I am the healthiest that I have ever been since having a baby, which is really good.
Yeah, that's great. I'm happy for you.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome. You're very blessed.
Yeah.
And it's
With a healthy body, which
a
is good.
healthy body, healthy mind, and
Mhm.
it's phenomenal to see the trajectory to which you were here, being depressed, being like with this eating disorder,
Mm-hmm.
and then not having any direction to now
Yeah.
having that kid hitting rock bottom and now having a sense of purpose
Yeah.
and meaning and getting up every day and having all these a myriad of tools that could help you uplift
Mhm.
yourself. And you're still not, it's never going to be fully blissed out. You're not going to be
Yeah.
fully like enlightened where you're just happy all the time. You still take the punches as you go through life, and then you
Mhm.
still kind of keep going. And that's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, about the eating disorder, if you don't mind me asking, like what kind of developed? Was it like you just overate or you stopped eating?
Back to the toxic relationship I was in with my son's baby daddy. I guess that's the word for it. Sorry, it just sounds so weird to say that.
Baby daddy. Sure.
It was really unhealthy. And there was a lot of expectations from him that were placed on me. I think also the stress of like the relationship was also extremely hard for me. And I ended up literally wearing it so I wouldn't eat. I couldn't. Like, the thought of eating grossed me out, which is so sad to think about now, because if you don't eat, you will eventually die. And I was definitely on that road with my eating disorder. And I honestly think that once pregnancy hit, it was like a godsend, because you have to eat or your baby's going to die and you're going to die. And I was just hungry. Like, you can't not eat. So, sorry. I finally found freedom from that in my pregnancy. And that is thanks to God. So thank you, Jesus.
That's awesome. And yeah, like he was placing so much stress on you to be a certain image, like to be perfect.
And I think he also struggled himself with that as well. And he was projecting what he was struggling with internally on me. Like, he had really high expectations for himself, and he pushed that on me. And that was something that was really hard. Like, in relationships, you wear your partner's insecurities.
True. It's like
you share things, you carry things together.
Yeah.
And if they're not healthy, it can really affect you.
Yeah. Like, what is it? Like, when people are married long enough, they start to like look like each other.
My mom always says that.
Yeah, no.
They look like siblings, and you're like,
it's like weird. It's kind of weird. Yeah, that's what I see my parents now, and like my stepmom, my dad. They have like no friends, so they just like spend together.
I feel like that kind of happens sometimes when you get older.
But they
have all of you guys.
Yeah,
family's huge. So
family, very very family oriented. Like, my dad will do anything for the family. That's always been for the family, and he always talks. He never
for the family.
Yeah, for the family, and then he always says, "So is it the sun right in your face, in your eye?"
No, it's good.
Okay.
Does it look like it?
Yeah, it is, but it's not bad though.
Oh, I see. It's like
unless it's like obstructing your.
Like a dot. I'll just move over here.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah, it was good though. Like, it was gold. Is it golden hour?
It's golden hour.
But yeah, he always talks in like a collective. Like, oh yeah, no, our drainage system, our like the water heating, our heating pump, it's not working, or like, oh man, our problem, always us. And I like like growing up here, you're taught to be like, just think about yourself, individual side. And so I pushed my family away growing up, being in my teenage years, because I wanted to be cool, and it's not cool being around your family.
Yeah.
And I'd be in like I'll be out with my family, and I'd be embarrassed anytime I would see people outside of school like hanging out amongst themselves. I'm like, oh, he's with his family? Like, what? Like, I would think that.
Yeah, I felt that way too when I was younger. And I even said to my parents, I don't want to hang out with my siblings. I want to hang out with my friends.
Yeah.
And I think also too, like, you watch TV shows that, like, Hannah Montana, for example, was what I grew up on. And she's always like, go away to her little brother. Like, you're annoying.
Yeah.
And I think those things you absorb, and then you just take them on, especially as a child, because you are so trusting with the world when you're young. So you just take everything in and you go with it.
Yeah.
And nothing's like, you don't have discernment between what's wrong and right. But now I'm like, I love being with my family, and I'm not embarrassed of them, except my little brother's table manners at the restaurant. I'm like, that's a little much, but I love him though.
Yeah, no, now I'm immensely proud to be with my family, and I'm outside with them. I just feel so,
they love you.
Yeah, connected. I'm like, oh, these people love me for who I am. You know, it's like,
they really do, and they're there with you through thick and thin. So.
Yeah, it's like no matter what happens, they like. I always worry that like I'll get in a car crash and I won't be capable anymore, and I won't be able to do the podcast. I won't be able to work. I won't be able to go to school at the U of A. I won't be able to be what I do, but I don't think my family likes me for what I do, like they like me for me.
You.
They just love me. And like, I could become, like a burn victim, and I wouldn't be able to go outside anymore, because like maybe there's scars all over my face, or like all these things that I worry about, like, oh, car crash and I'll become a paraplegic. But it's like, as long as I have my family, plus there's God,
Yeah.
You know,
Well, you
there's
look
like,
at babies, for example, they can't do anything for themselves.
yeah,
Like they basically, they're paralyzed. You have to teach them how to eat.
yeah,
You have to teach them how to move.
you know,
It's crazy the amount of things you have to teach them how to talk, how to walk, how to do everything.
yeah. I wish,
Like they come out and they're kind of just like,
yeah,
hi,
yeah,
chilling.
yeah. I miss those days, you know, when I was in the womb. Like,
Do you remember?
no, I don't remember, but I just feel like it's a good time there.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like I'm just like in there, you know, in like a cradle position. Like my mom's like I'm eating. Like I feel like it was a good time. Like I just
Oh, probably.
yeah.
Free food.
Yeah,
Self-serve.
she said she ate a lot of mangoes.
Oh.
Yeah, in the Philippines they call it lihe, which means that like when you eat a certain amount of like most of the food your cravings, that becomes like a representation of the child.
Oh, okay.
So like I'm a mango.
My son's a grape.
Oh wow, your son's a grape. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
strawberries.
Strawberries. That's a great choice.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He chose it, not me.
Yeah, and they're like, I feel bad for the kids that are like Pringles. You know what I mean?
Dill pickle chips.
Yeah, dill pickle chips.
Mm-hmm.
Or like,
I did go through a little bit of a phase
yeah,
with dill pickle chips.
yeah. I like I always like the oven baked dill pickle. I don't know what it was.
I was a French fry baby.
French fry.
Orange juice and French fries.
Wow.
And I still love potatoes.
Potatoes, right?
Mhm.
Pierogies. Like pierogies?
I do like pierogies.
Like they're just potatoes, except like with extra steps, you know?
It depends how you make the pierogi.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not much of a cook, but I want to learn one day
Mhm.
though. I really want to learn. Where were we?
Next question.
What advice would you give to other single moms who feel disconnected from movement or struggle to make time for it?
I would say, it even if you can like bring your child with you, I think that is so good. Like, for example, I go for walks and I bring my son with me. Grab the wagon, grab the stroller, do what you got to do, get outside, even if it's just like a 5-minute walk because you're just not in shape. Go to the mailbox and grab your mail, come back inside, and then every day add a little bit more, and then do more and more and more. And then experiment, see what you're comfortable with and what feels good. I'm not someone who's like doing heavy lifting because
You sure? I see the gains. Yeah, we're going.
I'm like, oh, are you sure about that? I'm not heavy lifting because it just doesn't have the same reward for me as going for a run. Or like if I do like a low intensity workout, I feel like that is more beneficial for my body, and everyone's body is different. So you have to find what's really good for you.
Yeah. I like, small movements, small steps.
Mhm.
Like when you just park farther down the road, you know, when you're at the mall,
Yeah.
and then you get extra 100 steps, or take the stairs.
Exactly. Like
Yeah.
it's little things. You don't have to be super crazy.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like a single mom. Like I have the benefit of living with my family. So if I'm like, if my son's asleep, I'm like, hey, can you guys watch the baby monitor while I go for a run or go for a walk? And they're like, yeah, we got you. But if you're looking at a single mom that has no one and it's just her in the house, it can be exhausting because you've got a list of things you have to get done before you can go to bed. And at some point, you're just burnt out.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it's the little things, like even what you said, parking further away from the mall. Just do it.
Yeah. I know my mom, she went through a tumultuous time growing up. Like I remember like our electricity would be cut off, and like I remember her crying every night. I would be like 6, 7 because like, you know, she wasn't treated nicely. She was treated poorly by a lot of the people around her. And I'd be like playing with my toy trucks and she'd be like ranting to me. I'd be like, I don't understand what you're saying, Mom, but I just hug her.
But I know you're upset.
Yeah, I know you're upset, but I just give her a hug. And, you know, I just saw her every single day. She got up. We had no help really. I guess my uncle was there a little bit, but she was so strong, like despite what she had gone through, because like her parents died early when she was like
Oh my
16,
goodness.
and so she would be all alone. And then by the time she had me and my sister, like she was just a single mom at that point,
Yeah.
and she had to provide, and she was a housewife before everything
And
took
then you
place.
have to take care of your children on top of
Yeah,
that.
and she was going through so many emotions, and she didn't know where to find kind of the next meal at the
Yeah.
time. And it was just, we lived in a place kind of in this area where there were some bad people,
Yeah.
you know, and I'd be like, at the looking back, like, wow, she did her very best. And that's
Yeah.
why I owe it to her to be able to get up every single day despite how I may be feeling, because
Yeah. You watched her do it.
she was going through hell. And then I would just wake up, it'd be like 7 a.m., turn on Cartoon Network, like she'd kiss me in the forehead. It'd be summer. It's like, have a good day. You know, she'd go to work, she'd come back exhausted. She'd still have food on the table. She would still kind of tell me stories about Jesus. She'd still try to make time for me.
Yeah.
And like looking back, like she only got like 4
Yeah, she's a
hours of
superhero.
sleep. Yeah. And
My
I'm just,
mind.
I'm extremely proud of her. She's in a great place now. I didn't get to see her for like 11 years because like she
Wow.
made the sacrifice to bring me and my sister here, right? There's so much
Yeah.
like other stuff going on, but like I don't want to get into that. But all I know is just like, I don't know, she just, yeah, single moms are some of the bravest people, you know?
Yeah,
Some of the
they
most
have to
like,
figure things out,
yeah,
which should be done between two people
yeah,
on their own.
yeah,
Like they've got to figure out how to do a 2-person job on their own. And that might seem like, oh, it's not that big of a deal, but the tasks add up. Like while someone's doing the dishes, the other one can be putting the kid to bed. But it's like, now that you've got the kid to bed, you got to do the dishes, you got to clean the house, you've got to do this, you got to do that, and then you got to take care of yourself on top of that. And it's just, there's a long list of things that have to be done. I am blessed that I live with my family because dishes, it's like a communal thing. I think I said that correctly.
Mhm.
So it's like, if I don't want to do it one night, someone else will.
Yeah.
Which is really great. And I'm so thankful for my family.
Yeah, you're immensely blessed. And God definitely favors you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm really happy to hear that your family is there for you, and they're kind of, I hear a lot of people who get into a situation where they it's an unwanted pregnancy, and they're all alone, right? And it's like so heartbreaking because they're
scared, they don't know what to do.
Yeah, they don't know what to do, and like maybe their family is not there, because it's like,
yeah,
it's not a given. Like family, it's like really not. Like I always thinking about like a lot of people that I know in my life, like some of them tell me that the relationships with their siblings are just very, it's abysmal. Like they just a lot of deep tension, like they have to move out, when it's just, you save so much money being with the family, you save so much time, you fight off diseases because you're less lonely, less stress, and you come home and there's a face, like there's somebody there. And I don't know, I just, nothing in this life is a given, right? I think the things that we have can all be taken away, like just like that. And it's great to be able to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
That,
it really keeps you grateful for what you have. Like even your health, like you could become paralyzed in a second.
Yeah. A healthy person has 1,000 problems, but the sick person has one problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you ever been like really sick, and like the problem you had yesterday with like, oh, I have to, that fight, or like, oh, that stress, that anxious thought, that just dissipates because all you can think of is that migraine. All you can think of is that upset stomach that you just can't get out of bed.
Like, I just want
to
this
and then
to end.
Then once it goes away, you're so relieved. You're like, but some people never get better. You know, I always think about that. And like, some people get like the flu and they think it's the flu, but it's actually not the flu. They have to go to the ER, and they have to, next thing you know, they get a diagnosis and it's there with them, or they get told, you have 2 months to live. I'm like, There's actually somebody out there who just turned 23. They just got a diagnosis,
Yeah.
for whatever it is.
Pregnancy is such a humbling experience in that way because you're sick, you can't move, you don't really have control over your body. It just does what it wants to. And so it helps you have compassion for people that are older that might have arthritis, or people that might be paralyzed or be like super ill. And it makes you feel really grateful after the like periods of illness are gone, or like you're unable to move your body because it hurts. Like once I had my son, I was like, oh my goodness, you don't realize how lucky you are to have a healthy body.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, you get to learn from, being confined to this like stomach that's like extended, and you don't feel you're discombobulated.
Like I can't even reach the dishes in the sink.
And then before that you took that for granted.
Yeah.
And now that after you've gone through that, you go, oh wow, I can move my body around.
Yeah.
There's no, the kid in my stomach. Right? And you can empathize more.
Yeah.
I think actually I don't know if this is just me. I can't find anyone that's just like this too, but my heroes, like, sure, there's like David Goggins, and there's like people that like run marathons, ultras that I really aspire to be, or like people with PhDs, and I look up to them. I know it's like a lot of work and a lot of like some celebrities who are really inspirational with high faith, but there's this page on Snapchat, and it's on YouTube too, called like Shake My Beauty. And I love it. That's because funny. It's people that like have gone through like many afflictions, and like have gone through like, most of them like have like physical kind of repercussions because of something they did, because of a disease, or because of some incident like a car crash. Yeah. And they have to go about life like with a chopped off leg, or they have to with a disfigured face because somebody poured gasoline in the fire and it got all over their face. And I view those people, and they're going about their day, they're still positive, and I look up to it so much. I don't know. I think those people are amazing. Yeah. They're so inspirational to me, and like,
and they make you feel like your problems are smaller too.
Yeah.
Or like, they also teach you how to like reroute your mind.
Like, there's this guy that was on the podcast. He just had one arm, like he was born with it, and he just,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's so brave. Like, to him, it's not bravery. It's just like life. But to me, like, I have both my arms, and I can't picture, not having one. And here he is living his best life. Yeah. In fact, I think he's even happier than me, than a lot of people that I know. And then there's this guy with ectodermal dysplasia, which makes it so that his like face is kind of, it's constructed weird, but he's still like a great guy. And then he has like complications with his health. He can't sweat properly, so he overheats. And there's just like his teeth don't come in, and they all like go out. I don't know. It's called ectodermal dysplasia. And like something with the lips, and he's just so strong, and he's still so caring despite all that. Yeah. But I don't know. There's a lot of people that go on through their shit, and they still find meaning. And I think I'm all about meaning, like, even when I'm washing dishes, I'm like, this is for the family, for the
like,
family.
I hate this. It's for the family.
For the family. Running for the family, working for the family. Yeah.
Your dad.
Yeah. My dad. Yeah, I love my dad. There's like, it's how has your faith helped you navigate the ups and downs of single motherhood?
You're gonna have to repeat the question. I kind of zoned out a little bit.
How has your faith helped you navigate the ups and downs of single motherhood?
Back to like choosing your own thoughts. I wouldn't have known that I could do that if I didn't really have my faith. God has been there to encourage me when I'm feeling low. Like, he's there for me, like, when I'm at the lowest point, or like, I'm like, I don't believe in myself. I can't do this. Like, I'm weak. When I need to be refilled or I need rest, I can find that just in his presence and spending time with him, because that's what he wants to do. He wants to care for you. He's a father who loves his children. So The way that we want to care for our kids, we can find that in God.
So you just put your faith and trust
Mm-hmm.
him.
It's not always easy though. Like there are times where you're feeling something so strong and you're like, I just don't trust you. But I saw this thing and it says, faith it till you make it. So kind of like fake it till you make it, except
I like
instead
that.
of putting instead of faking it till you make it and like believing in yourself, believe in someone who wants the greatest good for you, and that's God. And he's got a way of working that out. So cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you.
Cast your
Cares on the Lord and he will sustain you.
I like that. I like that. That's awesome. Faith it till you make it. I'm going to start using that.
It. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Wow. I like that.
Title of this video, Faith it till you make it.
Faith it till you make it.
Just kidding.
Struggles. Faith it till you make it. Yeah. I'm always thinking of thumbnail. If you have any ideas of the title, let me know. The trials and tribulations.
Oh my.
The depths
We're getting heavy. The depths of despair and single motherhood and climbing your way out of it.
The worst life now changed into this fulfilled nature walking influencer.
That's hilarious.
Were there any moments where you questioned your faith, and how did you find your way back or through?
Yeah. I grew up in a Christian household, so like I knew about God when I was little. I was taught a lot about him. I went to a Catholic school.
Since middle school. Went to middle school with Mckayla. Shout out to Sonia. We're on the same yellow bus.
And so I always had my parents leading in their faith, but I never really had my own personally. And if I did, I didn't really care about it. You know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, yeah, cool. How's it going, God? Like I just didn't have respect for him because I never had a real encounter with him where I could feel the relationship going on between us until I was at the like rock bottom.
The depths of hell.
Yeah, no, I'm serious. It was so bad. I was at a point where in my pregnancy where I was like, when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, I'm going to kill myself or I'm going to have an abortion because I just can't do this, which is crazy to think. And God was like, hey, it is okay that this is really hard and overwhelming because you feel the judgment of everyone of like, how could you go have a baby outside of marriage? How could you be with someone who would be such a terrible father and sleep with them? How could you make those decisions to put yourself in this position? And I was making a lot of poor choices too. Like before I got pregnant, I was partying really hard, which wasn't good. I was in a lot of like bad relationships before I had met Gabe's father. And I just was like making choices that weren't good for myself. So I had a lot of shame and I was like, I don't believe in myself. I can't do this. And I hit rock bottom. And that's when God was like, you can do this. I love you. We're going to get through this together. Like, give me your heart and I will hold on to it and heal you and take care of you. And it was in the middle of like being the person that I feel like everyone would have been like, ugh, we don't accept you. Like, we don't love you. But God was like, I love you, even if no one else does. And he's like that with everyone. Like there's no favoritism with God. He loves everyone equally. So
yeah, went to the party phase and and then got into all these relationships that really didn't have the fulfilling aspect and were just kind of short term. I was just
chasing feelings.
Yeah, chasing feelings, not fulfillment, say. And then once you found out that you were pregnant, must have been just like a big shock, horror, terror. Like, oh, how can I party now? You know, how can I keep this lifestyle?
Yeah, you have to die to yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
Too, and because I was like, I'm living so selfishly. Like I genuinely was living so selfishly. Like it was just have fun, only worry about me. I don't care who I hurt along the way. And I had damaged so many relationships. And when I found out I was pregnant, I was like, this is it. Like, I've either got to like fix everything I've done or kill myself. And God's like, we got this. We can fix it.
Yeah.
And like the amount of relationships I've seen come together and like be fixed are so amazing. And it's all thanks to God, because he's like, we're going to change who you are first and work on you. And then we're going to bring you back to people's lives. And I'm like, oh my goodness. It's just
amazing.
like, he's
Yeah.
fixed so much for me. And I love my friends and I love my family. And I took them for granted in a way that I will never do that again.
Yeah.
Like, I love them so much.
But you learned from it. Hey, and now if you hadn't gone through that phase, you would have never known.
It was like a smack in the face. Like, you know, when someone's kind of being like a little bit like misbehaved and not doing, like, not caring about anyone else. It's good to like kind of be like, hey, snap out of it. Like,
smack them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, even though I would be like, oh, the world doesn't revolve around me, I think I did believe it a little bit, because that's all, I was the only person I had to take care of.
Yeah. It just woke you up from this.
It was like, I am not the only person I have to take care of.
Now there's another person depending on me, and all these feelings that I've felt, all the pain and suffering. Now there's this life form, you know, there's this from me, an extension of me. And this is not just a friend. It's not just a boyfriend or a brother. And this is actually, this is my child, you know, to say that. Crazy. But I don't know if like for me personally, I've always thought my barometer for like success was never like, yes, I want to be like successful. I want to be able to have a house one day, like my faith with God. But like just having a kid, I think it's like so I don't know, impressive. Like I think it's the meaning of life to be able to like pass all your teachings and lessons onto the next.
Well, that's why you also have to like be really cautious of the way you react when you have a child too. Like, you don't get a lot of alone time, so you have to learn to respond rather than react. And that's really hard, because there's a lot of times where things are going to be really frustrating and you got to be like, okay, good. And then go on and like choose to respond rather than reacting to things. And I feel like that's been the hardest thing for me. I'm still learning in that department. I feel like every parent is. But
you grow along with the child, right?
You follow them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think, I don't know, I don't know if you've heard the statistics globally for like people giving birth, a woman, but it's like at a decline. Like every single country is at like less than 2, which is very alarming. Yeah. Because like for a country to sustain itself, you need at least 2, because like to replace male and female. But like right now, it's like most countries are less than 2.
I have heard that, and I can get into a pretty heavy conversation, which could be taken the right way or the wrong way. With that, I would say that basically, I feel like our society has told women that being to feel the most like a woman is to avoid having kids. And I feel like that's the exact opposite. The second that you have a child is when you feel the most empowered, because you're like, I just brought a soul into the world. Like, I housed that thing for 8 months.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to raise somebody to be the next generation.
A full-time job.
And it's so important. And I think we can forget about that. And society teaches us, like, be a businesswoman. Like, if you're a businesswoman, that's awesome. But I feel like it's almost like poo-pooed on being a mom, because there's just so many things also that make women afraid now. Like, the economy's not really great.
True. Lot of shitty men.
You look at people like falsely diagnosing on the internet. They're like, if you have this symptom, you probably have ADHD or you probably have anxiety. And then you just have all of this. You're absorbing it. And you just start to have all this lack of confidence in yourself. And I think people need to realize that having kids is such a beautiful thing. And even though you feel like you're not able to do it, you can do it. And I feel like the people that feel like they can't do it the most are the ones that really can, because that shows that they like are becoming aware of themselves a little bit, if that makes any sense. Like for me, I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this because you need to be this kind of person. But it just really showed me the standard that I needed to evolve into. I don't know if that's what I'm looking for, but
Yeah, I think everyone should have kids. You know, the little
yeah, everyone
copies.
go make them babies. Just
No,
kidding.
actually,
No,
I take that back.
I'm
There
kidding.
there are some people that shouldn't.
Yeah,
But,
not everyone should have kids.
I think the majority of people that are working on themselves, that are wanting to be better, should
I think
be open
if
to
you
having
have a
kids.
healthy marriage, like you have that healthy covenant, then I think that's a great opportunity for you to try to have children.
Yeah, you know, my mom's been asking me like, when are you gonna have kids? And I'm like, Mom, I can't get a girl
once I find the right lady. Yeah, that's funny. I feel like for my situation, even like I wouldn't necessarily say, all right, ladies, go find any man at the bar and go make those babies. Like for me, I feel like I've been blessed with growth and like God and my family through this, and they've helped me to grow. But being a single mother is not something that I would want for someone else. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, I do believe that it is better to find the right partner and get married first before you have a kid. And I'm saying that now from like the perspective of like what I've gone through, and I see the purity in like a marriage and how that is good for the children.
It's the people that have gone through a tumultuous time, a terrible event, and they feel all those feelings, the discomfort, right? Where now this actually builds credibility for you to go, I don't recommend this, right? Like a lot of,
like I don't. It's like unless
like
you feel like getting
yeah,
a bad boo-boo and having to learn how to heal, then I wouldn't suggest doing it this way. I feel like like I do believe that children are supposed to be brought up in a marriage between a man and a woman, because it creates a structure and a wholeness and safety for like the partner and for the child as well.
Yeah, you need the two people to come together, because it's already so difficult. And that's where
I'm blessed with my family. Like I feel like they've been so amazing in helping me. But I still crave the aspect of like having someone for my son. And I know that he might struggle with that when he's older, and that weighs on me too. But that is things that I'm learning to surrender to God. Like, you know what? Maybe in the future this will happen. But I know that God's working everything out for my good, but also my son's good. So no matter what happens, it's going to help shape who my son is and really help him grow into a strong leader.
Yeah. It's just putting your faith onto God, that no matter what happens, you're just, you know, it's for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's tough because you're in the dark, right? But if you look at it big picture, it's like things make sense looking back in the past. Like, oh, like if I didn't go through that period of isolation, of like pushing back against my family, of partying too much, of getting into these bad relationships, how would I know the value of my family? How would I know the value of money if I wasn't broke? How would I know the value of hard work when I've never tried my life? You know, how would I know all these things? And I feel like God puts it into blocks for it to be palatable.
Yeah.
Because if you're just given everything you want, then what's the point?
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It's is it tough in like making relationships with being a single mom? Like,
no, I wouldn't say so. I feel like when it comes to having other parent friends, it can be like there's not a lot of people my age that have children. which because I obviously had a surprise baby. Like, so there's not a ton of people my age. I feel like that's also an issue. And I feel like as a single mom, you have personal struggles compared to struggles with people that are in a relationship and have children. And that can make it hard. I do think, though, like, it is really easy for me to make friendships, like, on my own. But when it comes to, like, needing, like, parenting advice, that comes from, like, my parents a little bit, and, like, people who are in marriages, because I am doing it on my own, and you just have different struggles. So yeah, I would say it can be hard.
So, what spiritual practices or scriptures help ground you on the days when everything feels like it's falling apart?
Prayer. Prayer is a really big one. I just need to be alone and talk to God. Like, whether that's like first thing in the morning before my son wakes up, I'm like, I got to do this and I have to sit there until I can be honest with like how I'm feeling, like what I said, and just let it all out. Reading my Bible's really good. Going for walks, love that. Yeah.
Yeah. In their hearts, humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps.
Oh.
Proverbs 16:9. It's like we have all these plans, right? But then the God, the Lord, that comes in and they actually formulate kind of how your life's going to shape up. And like the walks and prayer for you, scriptures, nature, like having family in there. There's like all the blocks that the God has selected to be able to help you.
Yeah.
Right. And like there's certain hardships and it's never going to be perfect, but it's really inspiring to for you to never lose that hope and to still remain positive. And it's great that you've found.
It's not like I'm perfect with that, though.
Of
like,
course, yeah.
I'm up and down, but
like any human being, right? But to compare it to where you were, 5 years back.
Oh, I had no hope.
Yeah. Now I can just tell, like you seem like you're a person that doesn't back down because your son's there and you feel the love from your family and you feel connected to God.
Thank you.
And that takes a lot of work. Like it's no overnight success, And yeah, I think you'll look back even more and realize just all those times were like, it'll keep getting reinforced more so than it already is now.
Yeah.
That, like that was for a reason, Yeah. That's great. No.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for coming on the show. Yeah. This is
this is new for me. I've not really ever talked in front of a camera for this long, but hopefully you guys enjoy.
Yeah, this is awesome. I think a lot of single moms, if somebody goes through a trouble with an unplanned pregnancy, I'll definitely send them my way. Yeah, or send them to this episode, right? Give some advice, give some clarity. I think there's
just be a shoulder to cry on.
Yeah, that too.
I got a shoulder.
Yeah, because right now I'm sure there's a mom right now just reading up the, just that what do you call it again? The little stick, the pregnancy stick test. Yeah, the little line. What am I
gonna do? I remember being that. I remember being there.
Yeah. Oh. Is it positive or a negative?
Positive.
Right? Yeah.
If it's negative, you're good.
Does it lie? Does it lie sometimes?
If it's positive, it's usually correct. If it's negative, sometimes it can be wrong and it can be positive. But if it says positive, it's very rare that it's wrong.
Yeah, that's so.
And when I saw the yes with the plus, I was like, oh, honey, wow. I was like, whoa, oh my goodness. You probably
remember it.
I remember it like it was
every
yesterday.
Single detail.
Like my heart dropped to my stomach.
Yeah.
Just there's no feeling like that. And it was like a bit of like nervousness, scared, excitement, like adrenaline, everything just hit me.
I feel bad for men that we can't experience that.
They do usually experience that after the baby's born.
After the
Or
baby's
like
born?
if they see their wife in labor and they see the pain their wife is going through, they're like,
Wow.
they start to have that compassion and realize like, oh my goodness.
This is,
At least that's what I've heard from my father and my mom.
yeah.
So
Yeah. That's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any last words for the audience here? For the single moms, what do you have to say?
Hasta la vista.
Hasta la vista.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I would say this is something that I was told a long time ago. God is working everything out for your good and his glory. And I think that is something you need to keep in mind, that no matter what you've done or where you are in your life, it can all turn around for your good and God's glory.
Yeah. Thank you, Mckayla. It's been an honor. And as always, to everyone listening and watching, there is a place for you in this chaotic world. Never lose hope, strengthen your faith, and keep it long term. Mckayla Paranych.
Paranych.
Oh
So
gosh,
close.
why am I'm so sorry. I'm so
No,
sorry.
you're so close. It's okay.
Paranych.
Don't be so hard on
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah. I should have practiced. Okay, that was awesome.
All right, sweet.
Yay.